Thanks for staying with us here on CN2 today. Laurabree Monday joining us. How are you today?
I'm so good. I just love being out here. Set always makes me smile.
I know it's a lot of fun, and we're excited to talk to you about this topic that's very near and dear to your heart. We know your sweet mom, Wendy, battled with Parkinson's disease, and you've just really gotten to learn more about that disease through her battle, and also you're very passionate about it.
Yeah, I think when you're tied to any disease, you're in a similar boat. Sadly, you know, you get so close to these situations you never want to be in, but once you are, you also want to give back and help as much as you can because you think about the people that helped you during your journey. So the Memory and Movement Center in Charlotte was instrumental in getting us through, helping us. We always left there feeling like we had some hope, which I've always said is one of the best words in the English language. Hope is everything. So they just recently opened in a new location that they own. So this is a big deal for a nonprofit.
That's
so
amazing.
Take a look.
The place is nice, but it's the people. And what I love is the fact that people would take time out of their day, especially people that have mobility issues, that will come over here in a wheelchair and a walker just to tell us that they appreciate what we're doing. That's what touches me. The building's nice, but it's the people here.
So that was Dr. Charles Edwards. About 10 years ago, he had what was really an outside-the-box idea in medicine to create a nonprofit medical practice that focused on Alzheimer's and Parkinson's patients. Memory and Movement Charlotte was born in, I don't know, around 900 square feet. They wanted to develop a new culture, not see as many patients, and put more time and attention into everyone who came through those doors. Well, now their doors open up into a much, much, much larger, wonderful space. They recently held a open house for that new location. It is their third office. This one is on Billingsley Road, but it is the first building they have owned. The mortgage paid off. It's very exciting. Families, including our own, came from all over the Carolinas and beyond. Patients drive as far as Charleston, Columbia, Greenville, Wilmington, and even in from Virginia. And the founder says, while the building, as he mentioned, is wonderful, it's always been about so much more than that.
We call it the time and attention model, okay, that we don't see as many patients. The fact that we're nonprofit allows us not to see as many patients in a day as we would if we worked for one of the big, healthcare conglomerates. And we also have time to match that with taking care of the caregivers. As Parkinson's and dementia progress, we can't help the patient unless we make the caregiver more effective and teach them what's going to unfold and how to handle certain situations.
We walked in the office, Dr. Edwards, before we hardly even got in the door, said he's got Parkinson's. And I felt like Dr. Edwards had thrown me a life preserver because it was just so nice to have a diagnosis and to know what you're dealing with. So here I feel like that they're the shepherds and we're the sheep in the flock, and they're there to take care of us. And they're just as concerned about the caregiver as much as the patient. And they involve the whole family, which is really unique to me. So many medical practices don't do that. They're very positive. Everyone has kind of been, it seems like most of the people that work here are involved with someone that's had dementia or Parkinson's, and they really are buying into the mission.
So speech therapy, a lot of people think is just about articulation. You hear it, oh, my child in school needs to learn how to speak correctly. Well, speech therapy is so much more than just articulating. So we work on voice, we work on cognition, we work on swallowing. So there's so many more things that speech therapy works on that a lot of people aren't aware of. What's been so nice about being here is Dr. Iyer and the other physicians here are aware of all of the different aspects of speech therapy, so they know exactly when to refer patients.
This kind of facility, I talk about it all the time. People do not know about this facility. Word of mouth, it's beginning to spread, but it's an incredible place, And maybe we will need it someday. You just never know.
And the demand for services continues to rise. We are seeing from 40 to 50 new patients a month. And we are constantly asked, when are you moving to South Carolina? When can you open up another satellite office? So we are actually talking about that right now. As a nonprofit, we have an obligation to the community to continue to meet that demand. And with the help of so many generous donors and supporters in the community, we're able to do that.
My father suffered from and died from Alzheimer's in 2011, and it was very hard to watch. It was very hard on my mother. She didn't have the support that the Memory Center, the Memory and Movement Charlotte, offers to caregivers now, and my dad didn't have the support from doctors. I mean, he had good doctors, but a neurology appointment was 10 minutes. And so when Dr. Edwards decided to start this, I wanted to be involved because I wanted other families to have what my family could have really used.
The thing that comes across when you're in this situation, the first thing is you have to recognize when you become a caregiver. And when you become a caregiver, that becomes all-encompassing thing in your life. And you realize pretty quickly that you just can't do it alone or you're going to burn yourself out. And certainly, hopefully, in many people's cases, certainly in my case, with family and friends and so on, we did have a village. But beyond that, you need expert inputs. You need just somebody to bounce off ideas that you read in journals about new developments, what's happening with your loved one, and this organization, this practice, Dr. Iyer particularly, gave that kind of support, which was, totally necessary to get us through the process.
So some of you may recognize that last gentleman. That's my wonderful dad. There's a picture of us with my mom, Wendy Weinberger. We lost her in 2020, sadly, to a brain aneurysm, but she was a longtime Parkinson's patient at Memory and Movement, and our whole family really benefited from their care, and it's so special to see it continue to grow because you know what families are going through, and if some of that heartache can be eased, that's what you wish for people.
Well, it's so beautiful, and I love when he said, or when the caregiver said, they're the shepherd and we're the sheep and taking care of them. So that's special, Laurabree.
You go into a doctor's office and you want to feel some warmth.
Yeah.
They spend almost no less than an hour with families, maybe longer, because you need time when you're dealing with these disorders. It's unbelievable. So there's some information on your screen. Take a look. You can certainly visit their website. That's their new location, phone number. They really don't turn anyone away, and it's not just a wonderful organization, but as was mentioned, the people that fill that space want to be there. We're so responsive to phone calls. Dr. Iyer even came to our home for a visit once during COVID. So, they really love what they do, clearly.
Yeah. And I'm sure they become family.
Absolutely. It was
and
really
clearly
nice
still
to go
family
back. Yes,
to
well,
see
we're
them.
so happy to support them and just want to get the word out because what they're doing is so important. So many people are affected by Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or similar disorders that they care for as well. And it's overwhelming. So having experts guide you is what you hope for.
Yeah, and hopefully they can even come to South Carolina. Sounds like it could be, but sounds like they obviously work with you all right here in the state. Well, thank you, Laurabree, for sharing that with us today. And thank you for joining us for CN2 Today on this Wednesday. You can find more information and this entire story, all those interviews, right on our website at cn2.com under CN2 Today. Have a wonderful Wednesday.